Welcome. So excited to be back here in the Us 2 building today. My name is Roshana, if you don't know me. I'm from the Where Are the Black Designers team. And today we are joined by one of our wonderful partners, Found by Few, headed by Danielle here. Say hi. We actually have the entire team in the room tonight as well, so definitely get mingling if you haven't spoken to the others too. Do you want to say a quick hi actually before I wave to the rest, Ben, the rest of you, the team? So everybody knows who you are. Yeah. Anyway, so myself and Danielle, we are joined by three of our wonderful designers today. Adrian, Vanessa, and Ronke here in the front. They are going to be talking to Danielle about how they got their jobs in design. So they are going to be doing 3 short Pecha Kutcha presentations first. If you don't know what a Pecha Kutcha presentation is, it's a short form of storytelling, Japanese approach, and it's a timed presentation at 20 seconds, 20 slides at 20 seconds each. There we go. And then they're going to sit down and chat to Danielle to get into the nitty-gritty. But that's all really from me. So first up is going to be Adrian.
Not the countdown. Evening, everyone. My name is Adrian Tunde Abbey-Smith. I'm a principal product designer at Pearson. I've been there for just about 3 years now. I want to kickstart things with where I'm from. I'm of Dominican and Nigerian descent, but I was born in the United Kingdom, so literally a triple threat. Oh my God, thank you for laughing. Here, I'm about 6 or 7 years old. My mum and I lived in Dominica for about 2 or 3 years. And then we bounced to and from Dominica for a number of years for like schooling and work reasons. Dominica definitely gifted me with a certain type of resilience that you can only get from living in the Caribbean during your early years. It's very special. Also gifted me with some amazing visuals. This is Dominica behind me. Loads of mountains, loads of waterfalls. I'm getting emotional. It was a stunning place to grow up. I think it definitely bleeds into my creative process now. Like a lot of the visuals definitely affect what I kind of produce today. This is the medical school I wanted to teach. Ross University. Spent so much time here. What interested me about this school was definitely the structure. And this is where I learned that I really liked architecture. This is actually a true story. My preschool was actually based here at one point or another, and I always was interested that the buildings were earthquake proof. We moved back to London in the late 90s. I feel as though this picture encompasses what London is like for all of us. You're always like running in a rush, and it's always raining. But yeah, it was a shock to the system as well, because my mum decided to move back in the heart of December. So, but I was like reunited with my cousins and family and friends. This was my hellish school that I went to. High school was a bit of a trip, I'm not gonna lie. It was a rough school in West London. However, I did appreciate what it looked like. I don't know why they put so much time and energy into the design of the school, because the students were raggedy. But, I guess they did. So at school, I decided to concentrate on maths and physics to hopefully get a job within architecture and study architecture. But I did a bunch of GCSEs and A-levels, as you do. I did okay in maths because I got a tutor in Kumon. Physics, not so much, but, we move. I'll fast forward a bit. I completed my A-levels, GCSEs, etc. It was definitely an interesting time for me because I let a lot of outside noise infiltrate my way of thinking. I wanted to do architecture, but my tutors and my teachers did not believe in me for some reason, and they pushed me to do business management instead. So it's one of my biggest regrets. Me laughing at my own slides. I worked in fashion for a really long time. Fashion, and I did a bunch of fashion internships. It left me scarred for sure. But before that, I completed my course within business management. I got a BSc in it 2-1. I think my dissertation was on club cards. Who knows? Fashion jobs took me all the way up to what's it called? The pandemic. That definitely was a turning point for me. I did a course within the General Assembly, which was really cool, and it really taught me about mobile design and web design, and it unearthed some digital illustration talents that I didn't know I had. I then applied to this school called Love Circular. They were holding what's the word again? They were holding scholarship opportunities within Love Circular, and I applied through kind of putting together a bit of a little creative portfolio, and I managed to secure a place, which is amazing. During the boot camp, I didn't have a means to support myself. I had no money. I was broke. So I started to sell my prints. I built up a bit of a social media following, which was amazing to me because I didn't really know how to use social media before then. And this is how I sustained myself. I maintained a bit of a social life while studying, which was really cool. I also had the opportunity of working with some amazing brands over the past few years. I worked with Shoe on their Pride campaign, which was an amazing opportunity. This is a project that I actually hold quite dear because, Pride means a lot to me. And this was in their stores nationwide. I designed 2 murals, and a video about me talking about Pride was all over the place. I also collaborated with W1 Curates and the Flannels flagship store, which was an amazing opportunity as well. Funnily enough, this was at the same time as the Shoe opportunity and activation. So I was running to and from like Shoe and Flannels. I felt like high key very famous. And then I also got to work with this really interesting influencer called Hindsight. I designed 30 odd affirmation cards for him and his brand. This took over a year to complete. It was no small feat, but it really helped me refine my negotiation skills around money and design and what I'm actually willing to put out there. This felt like low hanging fruit when I put it up, but it's a viral tweet. And the funny story about this is that this design was intended for a couple who actually hated what I put together. But I shared it anyway because I'm just like, more fool you. It went viral and I got a bunch of business from it and eyes on my portfolio. But I'm going to rewind a bit and go back to just after Love Circular. Just after Love Circular, I completed my portfolio, I completed my CV. I was throwing my CV and portfolio any and everywhere. But then I decided to refine my search. I wanted to apply to companies that actually reflected who I am and where I wanted to actually be and where I could see myself for a few years. I sent my CV and portfolio to my 2B manager at Pearson. Pearson was a company that I knew about for years. I respected them immensely. So I was like, this is going to work out. So I sent him my portfolio, I sent him my CV, and then he asked me for an interview the next day. It was like, yeah, amazing. I got the job. It felt like I was getting what I deserved finally. This took 3 interviews. So it was a mixture of a competency interview, a portfolio review, and a take home task. It was grueling to say the least. And I also, funnily enough, got 2 jobs alongside Pearson, but I chose Pearson for various reasons. To end this presentation, it really does go fast. To end this presentation, I wanted to leave with, well, first of all, thank you to the hosts. Thank you so much for hosting such a great event. And I wanted to leave with a bit of a message just around following, the dreams that you set out to take. Your passions are really important. Don't let anyone sidestep you or sidetrack you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Now up to you, Vanessa.
All right. Hi, I'm Vanessa. I am a speaker, as you know, a storyteller, a problem solver. I've worked at Vodafone, Kazoo, Rightmove, all household names that most of you know. I'm currently 3 weeks in, so be nice, as a UX director at Dye & Durham. I'm pretty much from the ends. So North Londoner, that's a nice picture of North London, Alexandra Palace. Love travel, love speaking, like I've spoken about earlier. But I'm from a relatively humble working class background, pretty much. And I basically decided to do something slightly different, and just talk about 4 key things that I've learned over my career. So regardless of where you are in your career, you could probably just implement them. You could probably just implement it. And the first one is brand yourself. So one of the key things is really just knowing who you are as a designer. So there are, by 2050, there's going to be around 100 million UX designers worldwide. That's a lot of designers. So it's really, really important that you brand yourself to stand out from the crowd. And really think about who you are as a designer. So what do you like as a designer? What brings you joy? What I normally say to my direct reports is to basically think about that design process. What do you actually like in the design process? Is it research, or are you more into the UI side of things? and use that as a basis to create your brand. So an example of me, so I really like problem solving. I like building teams. So I've basically used that as a basis to create my brand, and I'm consistent with it. So on my website, it's the same stuff. My LinkedIn, the things I post, the things that I write about are all branded consistently, so that when you see me and you see my brand, you kind of know what I'm about. And one of the last kind of takeaways of this is market yourself in the way that aligns to your future goals. So an example, beginning of this year, I was just like, I'm going to be a speaker. I only did like one, I think, speaking event. And then I just put on my LinkedIn and everywhere that I'm a speaker. And it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But now I'm a speaker. But anyway, second one is know your worth. I think this is one of the key ones. You need to know how much you can get in the market, how much you can ask for. And just really, in order to do that, you need to be able to do your research, which is going to be the next slide. So look at all the job descriptions, understand what salaries people are offering, understand if you're getting underpaid or maybe you're getting overpaid, and really form an idea of how much you should be asking for, not only in your current job, but also in new jobs. So I'm waiting for the next slide. Sorry. Have a figure in mind. So normally have a range of mind. Have the lowest that you'll go, and probably just have the lowest you'll go. Never tell anyone your salary. And the reason for that is just in case you want to jump. So say for example you're earning like quite low, and then you almost want to get like a 40% jump. Like, don't tell anyone your salary so you can get that. And really stick to your guns. So I'll give you an example. I went for a job. I asked for a certain amount of money. I got a little bit extra. And then probably 6 months down the line, I found out a guy who started on the same day as me got the money that I asked for. So definitely stick to your guns and don't move on that. Number 3, stay relevant. So this is really, really important. So I've been in the industry for a very long time. I'm not going to tell you my age, but essentially the industry has changed. So the programs that we use have completely changed. The job titles have completely changed. So I think I went from digital designer, UX, UI, product designer. Now we've got staff in there somewhere. They're all changed. But again, do your research. Make sure that you're keeping an eye on the job market. What are people looking for? What skills are people looking for? And more importantly, so a lot of people are looking for AI skills. Are you using AI at the moment? How can you use that in your job currently so that you can then look for other jobs? Definitely understand the industry trends. Last time I was designing in Sketch, but now it's all about Figma. Who uses XD? I don't know. But I was designing in Photoshop years ago. So all of these things have changed. So really just keep an eye on what the newest kind of programs are, what people are doing. It really helps. And sorry, Danielle, it's probably a waste of time for your team, but do interviews regularly. Like, always interview. Keep up your skills. It's gonna take a while for you to understand how to talk about yourself, especially if you got a promotion. So keep on interviewing and keep on talking about yourself and what you do. And the fourth one is build your network. So I definitely got my current role through the network. It's no other way. I did do the applying and stuff like that, but it was basically because of the network. And I think this is really key that I think a lot of us as designers or introverts kind of don't necessarily do it because we think it's a bit icky or there's something about it, but it's really, really important. So get to know the people beyond your team. So wherever you're working, understand who's got the budgets, who's the decision makers, get in front of them, make sure they know what you do, how you do it, how you're making an impact to the business. Because a lot of people, if you look at people on LinkedIn and you stalk them, you'll notice like the boss and their whoever has gone over to another job and their CV is exactly the same. Go to events like this and exchange LinkedIn details. Really make sure you exchange those LinkedIn details. And don't be afraid to slide into the DMs and shoot your shot, which is going to be the next slide. But definitely, if you want a job from somewhere, or say, for example, you've made a really good connection with someone, don't be afraid to just ask them, especially like design leaders. There's always going to be someone who's like okay to give 5 minutes or half an hour for a coffee chat. So just do it. You've got nothing to lose anyway. So yeah, that is my last bit, and it does go fast. Thank you very much. Add me to LinkedIn. Go to my website for other speaking events. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. That was amazing. Look at you with your QR code on there. Handy. I'm definitely going to use some of those tips and tricks. And last but definitely not least, we have Ronke.
Hi, my name is Ronke or Ronke. I am Nigerian. I'm a product designer. I am the fourth out of 5 siblings, and I am the person that is not looking into the camera. So that kind of gives you a big hint who I am. Little Miss Easily Distracted. So I'm going to take you on a journey, and basically all the advice that Vanessa's given is like the polar opposite, but stick with me. So at school, I wasn't like, I loved English and I loved history. I always loved storytelling and I love facts. You can't argue with facts, but I wasn't an academic and I didn't know like what else was out there. And especially where we grew up, the idea of creativity didn't really exist. And I think the smartest thing I did, apart from actually the dumbest thing I did was wear a hideous school uniform, was I didn't stay on at sixth form. I left to go to college. And that's where I felt like, oh my God, like there's so much out there. I did a national diploma in multimedia, which kind of kick-started, well, I guess I was always creative, but I never knew it was a thing. I just thought I was really weird. Ask my brother's in the audience, he can attest. So doing a national diploma in multimedia, it fell in love with photography, graphic design, web design. Shout out to anyone that remembers Dreamweaver and Flash, because I love that stuff. And but I'm not telling you my age. And after that, I went on to uni, did a H&D photography. Sorry, I've got to skip fast, I'm talking way too slow. I ended up in New York to do an internship. Here I am grading in Central Park to interview with Mark Baptiste. And you've probably seen his work. And the reason why I interned with him is because literally I saw him on a TV show and I was like, I have to work with this man. And I'm a Sagittarius, so we're a bit delusional, but it works out because I didn't think he'd say yes. So I flew back to New York in September 2006 and I loved it. Working with a creative team, a Black creative team, I was so happy and I was just like, yeah, this was real. So when I came back to London, I've kind of gone ahead here, but if I can go back a bit, there were 2 things I did on my internship. Number 1 was working on his book, as you can see the slides. And the second thing is we did a lot of like location shoots. So working on set, on parks and things like that, it kind of was like, okay, I think I want to work in magazines as well because it's another layer. So I got to work, when I came back to London, I sent my CV out everywhere. And again, that delusional kicks in because I didn't think, well, you only need 1 response. And I did get a response. And the response was, wait. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm not there. Now I'm really, really fast. This is really difficult. Anyway, and I swear I've been doing this to my teddies for the past month. Anyway, so like, I go back to London and I send out my CV to so many people because I thought this is another layer. This is teach me about publications, and Grazia got back to me. I wish, honestly, when I did this before in the run through, it was timed perfectly, and I'm really upset that it didn't, but it's fine. So, and I loved working on the picture desk. It was everything that I thought fashion would be. I got to work on sets. I got to learn about the business side of like photography and fashion, sending model release forms, location shoots, which took me back to New York a couple of years later, this time working with another photographer who's no longer with us, Roxanne Lowitt. And I didn't really have as much fun as I did with Mark. And I ended up working with who I call my fairy godmother. Her name is Randy Ram. She's a couturist, not a designer. There's a big difference. And she was just like, oh, I need someone to help the photographer to come be on location. That's my natural face. I always look shook, but I swear I'm not. And working with Sam Rogers was a dream. Absolutely amazing. It's like a war vet. Like, I want to like buy the rights to his story because it's just phenomenal. Like, I loved working with him. Came back to London and I felt a bit lost because I was just like, I don't know what to do now. And I did a lot of odd jobs and temp jobs, ended up working front of house, which led to a group PA in television. Okay, stick with me because this is a ride. Then left television to work in marketing, was a PA there. And in the end, ended up moving to Amsterdam because I was a bit shook about Brexit and I wanted to like get an experience before it was taken away. And this is where I was introduced to UX design. So I went to this event and it was hosted by Adobe, very similar to this. And we did something called a lunch and learn and a creative jam. And I met this photographer, this designer called Peter, who I still chat to. And these are the notes he gave me on my little like crappy Squarespace photography website. And I was just like, this idea of feedback to empower someone, to make them better, it blew me away. I was like, I need more of this, because I didn't feel stupid. He didn't make me feel dumb. He really wanted to, like, I don't know this man, but he wants to help me. So I enrolled with the UX Design Institute, did my little diploma in UX design, and I always knew it was a foundation. I never felt like it was going to be like, right, I'm going to walk into Found by Few, or here, give me a job. So when I graduated, I knew I wanted to start as an intern, because I knew any company that I would work with, they would invest so much time with me and actually want me to grow. And anyone that is starting out, I think, especially like, don't limit yourself to a job title because of the opportunity. So when I graduated and I got in touch with Siemens, they said, are you prepared to come to Sheffield? And I was just like, and I just remember looking around my bedroom like, there's literally nothing holding me here. So I went, and 7 months later, I got promoted to a product designer, and my contract changed in May of this year. So I became a home worker. So I moved back to London, which I was very happy about. And yeah, so that is how I got my job. My last slide, though, when it finally arrives, wait, I'm getting the timing right on this one. But yeah, I actually wanted to dedicate this Pecha Kutcha to two people who I lost this year. My auntie Adenike, who we lost to leukemia, and a very good friend of mine, because Simeon Bradford Pennant, and I still very much love them. And so grief is so weird, and it's a weird journey, but I really wanted to dedicate this to them, because by honoring them, I'm honoring myself. So that.
Thank you, Ronke. Woo! That was amazing. Thank you so much to all three of you. So amazing. And three very different routes into design.